সুপ্রিয় দর্শকবৃন্দ, আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি 5 মিনিটস কানাডা ইউটিউব চ্যানেল থেকে। আজকে আমরা আবার একত্রিত হয়েছি আজকে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ইমিগ্রেশন ব্যাপারে কথা বলার জন্য। আমাদের আজকের বিষয়টা স্কুলিং ভিসা। আমরা অনেক প্রশ্ন পাচ্ছি যারা এই বিষয়গুলো আরো বিস্তারিত জানতে যাচ্ছে, সেই আলোকে আসলে মুকুল ভাই আছেন, and we are delighted to have one of our immigration consultant who is working here. I will ask her to introduce herself. Meghna, do you mind to introduce yourself and just explain what is actually minor study program, minor child study program mean to you?
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Meghna Sen, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and I'm practicing in Ontario. And let me start by briefly letting you know, what is a minor first. Minor is, like everyone knows, is a child who is under 18 or 19 years old. Some of the provinces here, like Ontario, they define a minor child 18 and under, and British Columbia and Yukon territories, and there are some other provinces who describe a minor child as someone 19 and below. So it would depend on the province, someone who is below 18 or 19 years of age. Now, when a minor child accompanies their adult parents to Canada, some of them may need or require a study permit to study in the schools here. It could be elementary or secondary or post-secondary. Now, for a minor child, suppose he's accompanying a parent who has a work permit or a study permit in Canada, they don't need to apply for a study permit. So they just accompany the parents. They don't even need the letter of acceptance. They accompany them. They are enrolled into the school. But now suppose a minor child is accompanying a parent who is on a visitor permit, and that is when they would need to apply for a study permit to get enrolled into elementary and secondary schools here. So that is what it means.
Okay, thank you, Saiful, and thank you, Meghna, to explain about the what is the minor child study program. But I do have a question. Like, as you know that any international students, if they want to come to Canada as a student, so they need to show their like a financial like a ability or capacity, because without this financial support, so it will be like they won't get it like the study permit. Do you know what
Right.
I mean? So I think in that case it's very important, and I heard like from you or other RCIC that most of the cases is refusal because of the financial reason. Am I right, Meghna?
Yes. So basically what happens is that when a minor comes, and suppose the minor is coming to Canada to study along with the parent who doesn't have work here in Canada. So then they have to prove how they can financially support themselves. So they would have to pay the school fees, they would have to pay for medical insurance, they would have to pay for the rent where they are staying, plus they would have to pay for the living expenses. So which really adds up. So they would that is why they need to prove that they can stay here and they can pay, they have enough funds.
Okay. So
these relatives, they are not in Canada.
No.
They are not in. So see, by sponsorship mainly, it is like, again, you need to prove funds. So you need a sponsorship letter, and you need to prove a relationship and all. But then when you sponsor someone, you do not get any special privileges by sponsoring that person. So now if a parent also sponsors their child, they don't get any special privileges, like the government doesn't allow you to come here and start working. You don't get that. For that, again, you need to apply for a separate work permit or study permit and then work and all that. So if this relative is coming and sponsoring, so neither do they get any special privileges. So they would be again applying for a temporary visa. They would have to get the temporary visa. So they come here on the visitor record. And then again, they would have to legally prove to the Canadian government that why would they want to accompany this minor, why the parent cannot accompany. And then again, there are other legalities, like they need to have guardianship and other legal formalities where the parent gives the authority to these sponsors to take care of their children. So there are a lot of legal issues, but main thing is that you do not get any special privileges. So you could sponsor, but then you would have to fulfill the other requirements too.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, as you mentioned, like the who will be a sponsor, they are not in Canada, but some of the relative, like they're in Canada, so they want to sponsor their their relatives, so the minor child. So in that
Yeah.
they can do it, right?
They if they are Canadian citizens and permanent residents, there is the custodianship form. So that custodianship form can be signed by the custodian who is a permanent resident, and in that case, then they would have to, the parent would have to show the proof of funds they are giving, the sponsorship letter, or these relatives would be, they have to give a sponsorship letter, affidavits, and they would also have to live in the proximity of the school. So there are a few things that they need to follow, and then yes, if they are Canadian residents or citizens, then yes, they would be able to.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So it is clear that who are going to sponsor, so they need to prove
Yes.
they're sponsoring their relatives, or and then I mean they have to show their documents
Right. And also there is, even if a parent comes, suppose, and the parent is not a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, then in that circumstance, the school, you still need a custodian.
yeah.
So that would be a permanent resident or a citizen. So you would have to have somebody who is there to, in spite of the parent also being there.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, yeah. So
go
I
ahead.
have the same one question also. So if someone is 18 years old, I had a question from my friends. So in this case, what will happen? They can come without their parents, or if they have custodian here, it's enough or no?
There are some school which, sometimes 17 also they may not require. So 18 if you're already an adult. So you have to just check with the school. If they say it's fine, they don't need a custodian, then that's okay. You do not need a custodian.
Oh, thank you. So I have another question. You already answered that, because when they apply for their child, they have expectation that they will get privileges, PR, or another thing. So what your recommendation, like in this case, if they are hoping like this kind of things, they will come automatically, they will become Canadian citizenship. So but Canadian they will get a permanent residency. So what your advice for those?
Right. See, the Canada permanent residency system is all points based.
Mhm.
So you have to, prove your work. You have to prove your education, age. All these things, factors matter. So just because a child is accompanying you who is a minor and studying in a school does not give you the privilege to automatically get your permanent residency. So a parent could come on a visitor visa, and then to get the permanent residency, they would have to go through the express entry system or apply through the provincial nomination program, and then they can apply for study permit, they can apply for work permit, they can do all that. But just by accompanying a minor child who's attending a school in Canada does not give them the liberty to get the permanent residency in Canada.
Just one quick thing also. So will they get some kind of benefit staying in Canada? Like, let's say it will be easier for them to apply those things or something like that, or?
Easier in the sense, see, they can apply to schools from inside Canada. So legally, they can do that. They can visit the school, they can meet, they can see more programs. So it becomes easier for them to, this. And there was a new public policy which came out, like, visitors who are here, who came prior to 24th of August, they could also apply for work permit without going to the port of entry. So there was a public policy that was issued. So some privileges are there, but they would also, again, have to follow all those guidelines. So when they come, we need to check their guidelines. Like at that point, what is the eligibility? What are the rules and regulations? And then that we will have to see that.
The minor child, the other countries, Canada is like a much better, much
right. Right. The immigration officers, one thing that they see is that what is the age of the child. So, I would not recommend like a kindergartner or like first, second grade, when they're very small and they're coming just alone. Suppose some parents want to send them all alone. Without coming along with them, or they can't come. So in those circumstances, the officer just sees, is it the best interest of the child? That is the most important thing that they see. Can the child mentally adjust to the environment? Now they are studying there, so compared to that, how good it is for them to come to Canada to study. So those circumstances, if you can satisfy the officer, then you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more question, last question. So if people are coming, they need help in this kind of things, definitely will suggest you to go there. So how they can connect with you, or what your how we can connect with you?
Yeah, so you can go to the ICCRC website and you can just type in my name and find an immigration consultant. So if you write Meghna Sen over there, all my contact, everything comes. Or you can contact me through Mukul, who is a good friend of mine. We studied together. So even through him, Pathways to Canada would also be fine. Any way that anybody feels comfortable.
Yeah,
okay,
thank you.
So thank you, Meghna.
And also they can contact my email info@pathwaystocanada.ca.
Right.
So I mean they can contact with us, and also they can visit our website www.pathwaystocanada.ca. So they will get the information, and if they need, and our goal is to to provide real information to the applicant, international students,
Right.
or who are going to come to as an immigrant. So this is our goal, to provide them the real information.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and I hope the audience, they will get benefited from our program, through this program, and we'll continue in future to provide more information to them. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye bye.